So a very small patch. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I am. Because I did expect like a bigger patch, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of characters that need looking at. Yeah. So let's start reading the main reason for the balance patch. So they said in V1.09, in addition to bug fixes, minor balance adjustments were made with the aim of suppressing some overpowered move performances, as outlined in the previous update announcement. So they did say that they wanted to nerf Dragunov and Alyssa specifically, which is what they did to an extent. So yeah, Heat Burst, it was fixed so that certain inputs could no longer be performed after a kill. Not really sure what this fix is, but Special Shutdown fixed an issue in which tracking for some attacks would be removed in certain situations. Again, probably another bug that just got fixed. But let's talk about Alyssa now. Let's talk about Alyssa, which is... I think some good changes for Alyssa, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I saw a video on the Alyssa changes on Twitter, and I'm a bit happy with what they did to her. So it says, for the balance direction reasoning, in V1.09, adjustments were made to Alyssa's techniques that tended to lead to low risk and passive strategies. So they've nerfed the damage of downfall from 15 to 12. It still gels, but I think this is a good damage change. Before, it used to do more damage than Feng's down back 3, which is crazy. So crazy. So the chip damage on block and in heat on block has been changed from 10 to 6 and 15 to 10 on stance forward 1+2. I think again this is another good change. And this one, guys, this is the main change, man. This change, I was so happy when I read this. Forward 2-1 being changed from -10 to -12 is so important. So important. Like, this is something I've wanted for so long, because there's no way a move like 4-2-1 should be -10 when you can cancel it, go into stance, you know. You don't need to finish it, you can heat dash from it, and it launches as well. Insane. But let's try out some of these changes. So downfall, let me see if heat's off. Okay, so downfall only does 12 damage now, which is, I think, a really good change. There was no reason for downfall to be doing 15 damage, you know. I think that was too much. What was the other change? Destructive form forward 1+2. How do you go into destructive form? Does anyone know? I've never played Alyssa in my life. Is this right? I think it's this. Down 1+2. This is forward 1+2, right? I'm sure this is it. Walaikum salam. Okay, so on block. Well, that's a big difference from what it used to be like. And let me see in heat. I think this is another good change, but I hope they also do something about, you know, like this string also does too much chip damage, I think. Like way too much in my opinion, you know. 4-2-1 being -12 now is, I think, probably the best change in this patch, you know, I'm not gonna lie. In my opinion. Like, this being -10 was insane to me, man. Insane. But yeah, I think with the Alyssa changes, I'm happy. You know, although downfall still jails, although her other strings still have crazy chip damage and stuff, I think it's a good start I think that's what's important. At least they're noticing and understanding where some of the issues are. So yeah, for Alyssa, so far so good. Let's talk about Dragunov. So Dragunov's balance, changing, reasoning, blah blah blah. In V1.09, along with bug fixes, adjustments were made to suppress performance of some of Dragunov's overly powerful moves. So his Heat Smash, the duration of the attack and hitbox of the third attack have been adjusted to make it less likely to hit opponents behind you. So I'm guessing this is when you extend your hitbox or something and it used to hit you, or when you try to whiff punish early and you'd get hit by it. So I think this is a really good change. Down 2 damage being changed from 17 to 14. Now with down 2, right, I think down 2's a weird one because me personally, I think down 2 tracking should change as well. They should change the tracking to down 2 like they did with Feng's down back 3. In Tekken 8 you can step down back 3 easier. I think that would fix so many issues with Dragunov. Like, it'd make Dragunov easier to fight, and he wouldn't be as strong as he is, you know. But I'm still happy with the damage change. It's still good. It's a good start. Yeah. Back 4-3. Now this one's big. This one's really big. To make it easier to evade through sidestepping, the following performance adjustments were made. Tracking performance of the second attack has been reduced when the first attack misses. The hitbox of the second attack has been reduced when the first attack misses. So sometimes when you try to step, when the first back 4 whiffs, you'd get clipped by the second for some reason. Now I'm so happy they fixed that because holy shit, that shit was jarring, man. Especially when you wanted to sidewalk, when you knew it was coming, and you just wanted to get a launch by not ducking, just by sidewalking or sidestepping, and you'd get clipped. I'd never understand why that was a thing, you know. Like, that was weird that even existed in the first place. Really weird. Yeah, and obviously QCF4, it no longer wall splats. Now QCF4 is like the mid of all time, man. I think there's so much changes that need to be made to that move, and where do I even start with that move? But yeah, down 2 only doing 14 damage now. I still think it's an amazing low, you know. It still tracks the way it does. You can still control the pace of the game with this slow, you know. I think it's a great low. So you can step this both ways now if the first attack whiffs. But obviously it's better to go right versus Dragunov in general. So I think this is a very good change. You can even sidestep right, you don't even need to sidewalk. So again, a very welcome change. Something that was needed. Now let's talk about D move. Let's talk about QCF4, man. This move is something else. So it no longer knocks down as well. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this, honestly. Because I think in the open, like, you get a free mix, you know? And at the wall, like, what are you going to do? You're just going to have to guess. Like, +8 as well is something else, you know? But yeah, I think this move, like, there's so much that needs to be looked at when it comes to this move. Like, the pushback on block, the plus frames. Why does it launch in heat? Why does it hit grounded? Like, I don't like this situation though. I know it's good that it no longer wall splats, and I might sound like I'm being petty and whatnot, but like, this situation is still very dumb. Like, like, what are you meant to do here? Just guess. And yeah, it's still +7 on block as well. Like why is this still +7 on block? Why is there so much pushback? Why does it deal some chip damage? Why does it hit grounded? Like, this move needs to just... it needs to be nerfed. It needs to be nerfed more, man. I can't believe that after two, like, it got nerfed twice and it's still like the best mid in the game, arguably. It still is grounded, yeah. And exactly, this is what why does he have this mid? Like, he didn't need this, you know, when he has this. Like, the pushback is still too much. Plus frames, chip damage, it's grounded. Like, the tracking as well is still ridiculous, you know. So, like, I don't know, man. I think QCF4 just has to go. It has to go or just nerf it big time.
He's asking the crowd. Heihachi.
But yeah, I think these nerfs are still good to Dragunov. Again, it's a start. But I'm just like kind of sad that they didn't nerf him more. Especially with a move like QCF4. I think this move's just too good, man. This move is just ridiculous. I still think he's number one. Him, maybe Nina and Yoshi. Like, the tier list hasn't changed. The top four, in my opinion. So with Heihachi, in addition to fixing unintended behaviors, Heihachi underwent balance adjustments to address the issue of excessively high combo damage while in the Warrior Instinct state. So one of the fixes they made to Warrior Instinct is when a stage gimmick was triggered, you wouldn't get a stack. Now, this is something I think every Heihachi player's experienced. Like when breaking the balcony with like a certain move, you wouldn't get the stack. So I'm glad they fixed that. So his jab, the issue where the recovery time became longer than intended when countered by the opponent's power crush has been fixed. I didn't know about this one, but I guess this is a good fix. So the main change with Heihachi this patch was with Warrior's Instinct 1 back 2-2. It has been adjusted so that the opponent can now perform a side roll when hit in mid-air, basically. So they can tech easier. The recovery's been reduced, which I guess is fine. I don't mind this too much. So as you can see, they recover way faster now. So let me try, I don't know. Amazing. So this is what people would usually do, jab into down 3-2. You can't do that anymore for the crazy unscaled damage you used to get. Now with this change, I don't mind. But I still think they need to take a look at some of the other shit we have in the game when it comes to spike combos. Like Kuma, Lee, Leo, Ling. Like, they still do too much damage even though some of them have been nerfed. Like, why do spike combos even exist? Ling is insane, you know? And yeah, this is just there for one round whilst the other characters have access to it every round. And it's easier to set up and whatnot. So, nice. Amazing. So, the last two changes, Nina's 2-3 and while rising 3, the issue where a transition to a throw occurred on an airborne hit has been corrected, so another fix. And I guess another fix with the Deviljin's Rage Art, where the timer would go on for some reason during a Rage Art whenever you hit Heihachi. So I'm glad they fixed that, especially before finals, because imagine, I don't know, Kudan's played someone and he popped the Rage Art and the timer would go down and he'd lose, he can't make the comeback or something. That would be funny. But yeah, this patch, honestly, for the time we waited, I expected more. I still think it's a decent patch though. It's a good start. It is a good start. But I did expect to see more changes to some of the top tiers, honestly. Like, I expected to see Yoshi changes, Nina changes, some proper Yoshi and Nina changes, you know. The dragunov changes are really good, I'm happy. The illicit changes are good. Heihachi change, okay. But like, we waited this long for this patch just to get such a small scale patch. Now again, I understand finals is soon and whatnot, but I did expect to see like some of the top tiers, more of the problematic characters get nerfed and touched. I rate this patch 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I guess, because Alyssa changes are really good. Dragunov changes are okay. I still think QCF4 needs to be touched heavily. Yeah. But to me, again, I'm going to say this again. To me, it feels like they're following the same... The direction they're following is they do small patches during the tournament season, and at the start of a new season, or at the start of... Before the start of a tournament season, they're going to go for like the big balance patches. I think that's the route they're following. That's why it feels like. So small patches during a tournament season, and before tournament season starts, they just drop a big balance patch. Now, I guess that's okay, but I think right now there's too many problems with like certain characters. And in general, it's not just characters that need looking at, it's also the system as well. Like, heat consumption for some characters is insane. Some characters can do too much in heat. Like, chip damage is still an issue, I think. Now, it's a good start with what they did with Alyssa, but there's other moves that do way too much chip damage. Kuma and whatnot, like... Nina as well is insane in chip.
Heihachi. He's asking the crowd. Heihachi.
But again, it is a good start. I'm happy. What do you guys think about this patch?